have picked up. I don't know what's in there. So yeah, I know. I have to go here. I'm getting kind of addicted to their waffles. I had planned 3 nights at Congaree National Park and felt like I had pretty much a good experience of the park after a 2-night visit to the area. I've been lucky to have a personal concierge while in South Carolina, my former boss Ken. He recommended taking my extra night to visit Charleston and mentioned touring Fort Sumter, where the Civil War began in April 1861. In my journey across the South, I have been absorbing as much American history as I can, so I couldn't resist the opportunity to head south and see the fort. It's a $35 per adult ticket to take the boat to the fort and back, about 40 minutes each way. Well worth it. Upon arriving at the fort, you could immediately see the strategic importance of this location. Whoever controlled the fort would control the harbor, and in April 1861, Union forces occupied the fort, and Confederate forces had to dislodge them or lose a critical supply port. So this is where the fighting began. You have an hour here to explore the fort until the boat heads back to the harbor. There's a museum, which could take a full hour to explore on its own, or you could get a condensed version from the ranger down on the lawn. I didn't think an hour was enough time to see all of the fort, but I made the most of it. Now, if you were to ask me what I took away from this visit, it's this. General Beauregard was ordered by the Confederate President Jefferson Davis to take the fort. Now, guarding the fort for the Union was his former instructor and friend from West Point, Major Robert Anderson. I was trying to imagine how difficult this would have been to fire on your former instructor and friend. On display was a tattered flag from the conflict, probably a fitting symbol of the breakage that was happening to friends and families across the nation. A short walking distance from the National Monument is Charleston's French Quarter, which was an excellent place to spend the evening, having some dinner, and maybe finding a little something special for dessert. I don't know where to start. There's an iconic bridge that dominates the view of the Charleston harbor, and I was lucky enough to get to cross that bridge on my way north up the South Carolina coast. Fort Sumter is out in the harbor over there. Here we go, over the Charleston, I don't know what bridge this is called. Oh, it's the Arthur Ravenel Jr. Bridge. Now I have to look up who that is. Highway 17 up the South Carolina coast was very scenic. I stopped in Georgetown, a historic town with shops, restaurants, and a beautiful riverside boardwalk. I treated myself to a chicken and waffle lunch here. I guess I've never had chicken and waffles at the same time, so it was another first, and I guess chicken and waffles is a staple of the South. My ultimate destination on the Atlantic coast is Myrtle Beach State Park. Myrtle Beach itself is very touristy, with lots of shops and restaurants. Thankfully, I think I missed the busy season here. I found that I had a lot more fun just exploring by bike and walking on the beach. But I did find one store that I spent a lot of time in. Those of you who know me know that I love Christmas. This Christmas-only store had a whole section devoted to camping. You know that one of my goals for this trip is to touch 4 corners. I touched the Pacific Ocean at Half Moon Bay in California. I touched Mexico at Big Bend National Park in Texas, and this is me at the 3rd touch point at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, touching the Atlantic Ocean. It's a cool morning here, South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, and today I will be heading northward and westward towards Great Smoky Mountains National Park. I don't know when I'm going to be able to dip my foot into the Atlantic Ocean again. It's so far from home, but we'll see. I just wanted to say one last goodbye to the ocean by taking a nice long walk before I hit the road. I think I'm just crossing into North Carolina on this rural road. Yep. I'm heading northwest towards the Great Smoky Mountains and found a small county campground called Cane Creek, literally just across the South Carolina-North Carolina border. This campground was another great bingo with ample available spaces, lovely quiet next to the lake, and of course, because they allow mountain biking on all their park trails. And I get to add yet another state to my growing list of states I've camped in. Okay, you can check me on this. If my truck wheel diameter is 30 inches, that means its circumference is 94.2 inches or 7.85 feet. If a mile is 5,280 feet, that means the wheel will spin around 673 times each mile. If I've traveled 6,997 miles to this very point in North Carolina, this means my wheels have each spun 4,708,981 times so far on this trip before this happened. I've got a tire alert, losing pressure in one of my tires, so I'm pulling off. Down to 29. I'm not sure which tire it is, so I'm going to pull off here and see if I can figure it out. Allow me to do a PSA here. Folks, don't drive on a flat tire if you can help it. I'm telling you this because I did that one time for about a half mile, and by doing so, I made the tire unrepairable. When I took it to the tire shop, they said it wasn't fixable because the sidewall had been compromised. And those of you who drive all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive vehicles know that you can't just replace one tire, you have to replace all four. So if this happens to you, find a safe place to pull aside as soon as you can, and hopefully before your tire goes flat. 27, 26, I'm losing pressure. All right, I'm gonna pull into this visitor center here. Senior Life and Conference Center. All right, let's have a look. Not sure which tire it is yet. I think it's one of my trailer tires. No, it's my front right. It's on the truck. All right, this thing is losing air so fast. I think what I'm gonna have to do is unhitch so I can get the spare out from underneath. All right, get the spare tire on the truck, which I have done before. So I gotta unhitch and spare tire on, then hopefully I'll take the tire to a nearby tire service center and see if I can get it fixed. Remember what I said in episode 1, things to take with you. The tire iron. Don't leave home without the tire iron. Okay, these tires from my dealership, Les Schwab, take a very special kind of, what do they call this? Socket. They call this a socket. So it takes a very special socket. Make sure you have these before you leave on the trip. Fortunately, I have 2. It fits that right in there, and then you find the right size of tire iron. Let's see here. Is that one? Nope. Let's try this one. Nope. Let's try this one. Yeah, right there. All right, here we go. Make sure you loosen the bolts before you jack it up, right? Loosen the bolts before you jack it up, because when you apply pressure on the bolts, it might make the truck fall off the jacks, and you don't want that to happen. So you want the bolts loose, then jack it up, then remove the tire. So while I'm putting the spare tire on, can I just say, I'm glad my TPMS system alerted me probably a good 2 minutes before the truck's idiot light came on. Now that 2 minutes could mean the difference between finding a spacious parking lot like this and being stuck on the shoulder of a busy interstate.
All right, so that's what we're gonna do next, is let the truck down. And when it's clear and the jack is low, I can see space between the jack and the frame. There we go. Now you can tighten these down, but do it in a star pattern. So go across and then across and across, right? Don't go around in a circle. That just keeps kind of even tension on the bolts. Right? There we go. You don't have to crank it too hard. Just make sure they're nice and firm. And that is how you change a tire. All right, so my next step is to get everything back in the truck, get hooked up again. I just happen to be right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Good thing I'm not like in the middle of nowhere. And I'm gonna take the original tire, see if I can get it fixed and put back on. Okay. Thank you, City of Kings Mountain Senior Life and Conference Center, for letting me change the tire in the parking lot. Ahead I see Mr. Tire. Oh God, I hope they can help me, because this place was 1.5 miles away from where I changed the flat. I never would have made it here though. It was losing pressure too fast. So let's just go in here and see if they can help.
Really got to hand it to Mr. Tire in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. They had the flat tire fixed and back on my truck within 30 minutes. Thank you, Tyler and Christian.
Oh, okay, so I think that delayed me maybe 2 hours, the whole tire changing, fixing incident, so not bad. It says that I will arrive at my destination in Asheville, North Carolina at 3:46 p.m. So that's still decent. Again, this is a reason why I only like to travel a couple hours a day, is because then when the unexpected happens, you've got time to deal with it and not be under pressure. All right, let's just have an incident-free rest of our journey. That would be great.